So I was reading the book of Kings for the other time, and I got to understand the story of the Shunammite woman and how she had initially just been feeding Elisha every time he came around. And then she got to a point where she discussed with her family that why not just like create a room for the man of God so that he can rest every time he's around. And so they create an upper room for Elisha, to the point that Elisha is like to Gehazi, why is this woman taking so much care of us? Like, honestly, we need to reward her in some form of way. And so they come to her. She has nothing exactly that she really wanted, to the point that Gehazi then says, oh, but she doesn't have a son. And so Elisha tells the woman in verse 16, he goes like, according to the time of life, in this season next time you will embrace a son. And she says, no, my lord, thou man of God, do not lie to your handmaid, do not lie to me. And so this is just because it was something that she had probably desired and had killed that desire, because she thought, I can't do this, like I can't keep on hoping and being disappointed. And so we see in this story that later on she has the son, and so because she never really asked for it, when the son dies, she keeps quiet and she goes to Elisha and she's like, did I ask you for a son? And Elisha's like, oh my gosh, Gehazi, quickly go back, put my stuff on the son and make sure that the son rises back to life, right? And the woman is like, you if you think I'm leaving here without you, you're joking. And so Elisha gets ready and also follows suit. And indeed, when Gehazi went, even though he followed all the instructions of not talking to anyone and everything, and he got into the room, lay the stuff, it didn't change anything. The son was still dead. And so I was just like impressed by that story, because even when she's approaching them, he tells Gehazi to meet the woman halfway and ask if she's well or her family's well, because he goes like, because she is in grief and God has hid it from me. And I was just like, how amazing that in her discreetness, God honored that as well, to not reveal it to Elisha. So when she finally says, hey, yo, like, I didn't ask for this, like, what's going on? He's like, oh, Gehazi, go. And the woman is like, I'm not leaving you behind. And so she was operating at the level of her faith, because her faith was not believing that Gehazi could just go there and resurrect the son. So she was like, I'm not leaving you behind, you know? And I was impressed by the story, because there is the centurion in the other parts of the Bible who was like, you are too big, God, like you are too big, Jesus, don't even come through. If you say the word, I know it's gonna happen. And so it's like the levels of your faith, according to your faith is how you're made whole. So Elisha finally comes up, closes the door behind, and makes sure that it's just him and the child in there, and he cries and he hugs the child and he's praying to God and he breathes into the child, and the child finally wakes up, right? So what she was doing was serving the house of God by actually accommodating the men of God, and in so doing she managed to actually get herself a blessing that she had given up on hoping for, because she was like, don't even lie to me. And when she goes back, she's like, did I even ask for a son, you know? So that in itself seems like, oh, are you trying to blame me for a good thing? But it reminds me of the confidence that we should have approaching God when something suddenly seems like it's no longer going as it should have gone. Why? Because you have the confidence that it actually did come from God. And when God blesses you because you have been a faithful steward in his kingdom, even when things start to go wrong in that blessing, God is still faithful enough to actually turn that story around for your own good. Trust me, God meets you at the level of your faith, because when that woman said, I'm not leaving you behind, Elisha, best believe, stood and went to that house. And indeed, Gehazi hadn't been able to awaken the son, which shows you that that element of faith is such an important story in your journey as an overcomer. That's such a good story.